From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening of evenings, LA, with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. In tonight's recording, we go over a lot of major breaking news unfolding at the time of this recording. Recessionary concerns grow, but your money growing as well, and I'll have all the big money for you tonight. The Build Back Better Act getting a letter from the White House, and also the legislators saying to pass it, we need it right now because recession be on the horizon. CR for stimulus getting a new lift from the White House as it's dealing with the situation with oil and also with COVID. All the latest details on that. Plus, the Federal Reserve having that first of 1, 2, 5 FOMC meetings this year. Day one of the two-day meeting for March. I'll have what happened today in tonight's recording. Then we'll go over why that impacts your SS300, 300, and more. Next up is the big $80,000 of checks that viewers continue to get. It's offered nationwide, and you're only going to hear it in evenings LA tonight. I'll have the latest update on that, plus the big money that viewers continue to get. Last night, one viewer getting, yes, you're going to hear me right, $26,000 from third stimulus for rent. I'll show you how to get it as well. Then we turn to the energy situation. You thought oil was going out of control? Wait till you see the price of bread in no less than 4 weeks. A major wheat crisis at issue, bigger than even the oil situation. All the latest details in 6 stimulus, the latest stimulus package for Putin. Then guess what? More breaking news as the oil prices dropped overnight, but was it fake or famine? All the latest details in tonight's recording. And then next up, the big money at issue as the U.S., international allies, and more try to pivot off of oil, but they'll also have to pivot off of wheat and the banking industry and the issue about China, as China seeing big problems across the board. All big sums of money in tonight's recording. 4th, 5th, 6th, stimulus, and more. And in the final part of this video, a commentary like you've never seen before. Then we'll go over what Joe Biden is doing for your big money. All the details and more heat up this big broadcast from the shores of Santa Monica, California. I have all the details starting right now. Good evening, and hope you're having a beautiful day. A new poll released minutes ago said that 30% of fund managers believe we're going into recession. I've been detailing this over the last few nights, and tonight I have new breaking details. The remainder of the polled individuals, 50% of them, say that Europe is going into recession. Definitely. If Europe goes in there, we're going in there as well. I'll have the latest details later in this video. Plus, we'll be looking at those $80,000 of checks. Have you got to them? I'm going to show you how to get them, and I have personal commentary later in this video. It's a big night with breaking news. We're going to go over those $80,000 of checks. We're going to go over the Fed and that new FOMC meeting today and what happened. We'll go over the 10-year Treasury note and how it impacts your SS300. Then we'll be looking at the CR, new changes tonight to potentially get more money out the door. Then we'll be looking at the big money at issue in 6 stimulus. That is Putin's stimulus. And then 5th stimulus, you've asked about that. It's back on, baby, in tonight's recording. We'll be looking at the big money at issue of the Build Back Better Act starting, and then the situation from oil, wheat. If you thought the energy crisis, you thought the price of the pump was enough to make you cringe, wait till you see the price of gasoline and wheat and your bread going to $7 a loaf by the summer if they don't get this in check. On the latest detail of the commodity crisis and the banking crisis at issue. One bank commenting minutes ago, I have that tonight as well. And with that, we go into the incredible details of your big money tonight with the Build Back Better Act. The Build Back Better Act, the 4th stimulus recon, got a new walk in the park today, as the Democratic leadership of the House sent the President of the United States a letter yesterday, and today the President of the United States said we need to get it done. This letter, obtained by LA News on March 14th, 2022, yesterday, was from Democratic leaders to the President to say pass the fourth stimulus recon. Today, they held a press conference as well. They want it to be done in view of the world events, including the gasoline issue. Then the President of the United States addressed the letter today in saying he will get that Build Back Better Act done. Let's go over the big checks in there so you know what they are. And they start with 3 clusters of checks and 3 add-ons, huge sums of money that amount to $15,000 to $80,000 of checks. Let's look at them right now. Yes, this is the Build Back Better Act, and there's a lot of money in there. Average payout is $15,000 to $80,000 to the viewership of this channel. In cluster number 1, hazard pay got in there for my essential workers. 1 more year of the earned income tax credit, $1,500. The CTC got in there 1 more year, $3,600 for young children. The $4,000 of elder care, yes. $4,000 of care for young children, yes. $550 check for the Pell Grant, oh boy, yes. $12,500 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. Home repairs if you live in a low-income community, nutrition, cheaper prescription medication, and more. That is the first of 3 clusters in the Build Back Better Act. The first add-on comes from the shores of Santa Monica, California, or Southern California. It is from Maxine Waters, $25,000. That would be given to the seller in your name for the purchase of your first home. Yes, incredible. Given to the seller at the time of escrow, this would be to your first home. How do you get these incredible checks? Get that Build Back Better Act passed. In the second cluster, checks home repairs to weatherize your home, and paid leave for the individuals who have to take off from work due to sickness or illness. $1,700 a week a week if you make $75,000 or more per year. Split in half if you make $35,000 a year. Split in half more if you make $15,000 or more per year. W-2, 1099, you all get it. And if you don't work, but your son or daughter does work, they're going to get the check to take you to the doctor's office. That is paid leave. The second cluster of checks in the Build Back Better Act passed in the House, now waiting in the Senate. The second add-on of checks, Bob Casey got it in there, just a little bit less than $250 billion for free home health care for my seniors and people on disabilities. When we go to our third cluster checks, deliciousness. Seniors checks and free internet. Farmers checks, independent contractors checks. Then they got checks for also nutrition. But the seniors clean up. Lots of checks. Viewers asking, who are seniors? Anyone who's on Medicare. So they got the hearing checks, vision checks, dental checks, the Medicaid gap fix to provide a workaround plan, to provide insurance to uninsured people in those 12 Republican holdout states. And then they got in there the Medicaid gap fix and the lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, which is par for the course when we're talking about adding checks to this fourth stimulus recon. The other check that we would add in there, of course, is MSC. MSC is that monthly IRS stimulus check that the legislators represent that they're going to add in there. Monthly IRS sent out to the viewership of this channel and everyone who got a third stimulus check. So says the legislators to the viewership of this channel for over a year. The MSC, who would get it? Let's recap. Single individual, $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you get it. Double it. Family of 4, quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, or rail benefits, you get it as well. It is not income. It's not taxable. It's offered nationwide, and it goes off the most recent tax return. That's how you get paid, by direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for up to 6 months, and away we go. This is a body of checks that will be added to the fourth stimulus recon on the Senate side. The other checks already in there, $15,000 to $80,000 across the land. And this is the subject of a new letter from legislators to the White House. The anchor of a letter, not particularly on point, talking about the importance to do Build Back Better because of climate. No, the importance is relief. The White House today addressing that letter saying, agreed, we're going to call for a vote. Good. I'll be watching when the fourth stimulus recon is called for a vote. But for now, I'm watching your money. How much of it? $80,000. Over 2 weeks ago, I detailed the very first breaking news on this channel of an $80,000 stimulus check going live. And it is now live. How do you get it? It's coming up later in this video. It is $80,000 of checks, $15,000 to $80,000. 1, per household. 2, nationwide. 3, everywhere. 4, eligibility, same as a stimulus check. 5, how do I get it? Become a member. And I'm going over it later in this video. So become a member so you're ready for it later as it comes up in this video after the commercial break. But first, let's go to the surprising developing details of CR. Minutes ago, since afternoon's LA, we have breaking news about the CR. What is it? Exactly what I told you may be coming. The White House was unhappy that Nancy Pelosi passed the continuing resolution last week and had no money in there for COVID. What happened? Well, they took out the COVID allotment that the president went in there, and the president said all last week he's coming back and asking for more money. Well, guess what? Minutes ago, he asked for more money. Minutes ago, the White House warned that the United States will run out of money for COVID in the next few days because there's not enough money. So the White House is introducing an emergency piece of legislation as early as tomorrow, asking for at least $22.5 billion of additional funding for COVID and other sums of money on top of that. Enough potentially for a $2,000 stimulus check, but we will watch what the White House does on this. Senior Biden administration officials say to reporters minutes ago that the next wave of COVID detailed later in this channel, in this video, the 6th wave currently in China, has nothing ready for in the United States, no financial allotment for COVID vaccines. This is teeing up the push for another CR. Now, last week, the CR for stimulus passed, and there is stimulus in there, but county stimulus. Confusing, surprisingly so. What happened? Well, on 2020, this channel made history by advocating for the inclusion of a $600 stimulus check into the December 2020 CR. It got in there. At the time, legislators said nothing belongs in a CR for people. It's to fund the federal government. Well, what happened last week? They put money in there for you on a county level. Legislators in the House got county stimulus in there, apparently watching this channel, not federal stimulus, county. So reach out to your particular county and follow your county news because it got in there. Huge across the board. Meantime, also developing details tonight, and I have the latest breaking news for you, as I promised in tonight's evening broadcast, is SS300. SS300 is the opportunity of a lifetime to raise your benefits up $200 a month now, and then another $100 later this year. How do you do it? By swapping out COLA for inflation, the Joe Biden campaign promise and part of his presidential platform at joebiden.com. Not something I created, Elizabeth Warren's creation, Joe Biden's adoption as president. Now, Joe needs to swap that COLA out for inflation now because it's the highest price point of a generation. But where is it tonight? New breaking details of what unfolded this morning and throughout the day. The day started with a CPI number last week on Thursday, and this morning, the PPI number. It missed targets, so it came in lower than price targets, suggesting that inflation was not as hot. A walk in the park? Not a walk in the park. Let me tell you why. The PPI number that received this morning missed the inflationary price targets and was a little bit weaker. Because it's weaker, it does not mean that inflation is weaker. It just means it was a little bit off mark. The Wall Street number that we were looking for is a 0.9% increase for the PPI this morning. It came in at 0.8%. So does that mean inflation is weaker? Not particularly so. What are we also looking at tonight? And one is Jay Powell looking out. Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, his job is to bring down inflation. But here's the part of the equation you need to know. You don't want Jay Powell to bring down inflation before Joe Biden makes a swap to COLA for inflation. Why? Because inflation is at its highest price point of a generation. 8% December 2021, as predicted by me all last year. 8% January 2022, as predicted by me all last year, and as revealed last Thursday in the CPI number. But what is Wall Street looking at tonight? Do they think it's higher than 8%? I believe they think it is. Why? Because the U.S. bond traders since Friday, on Monday, and a little bit today, have been trading up the 10-year Treasury note on the belief that inflation may be actually higher than 8%. And guess what? There's a lot of talk, and not just a talk, but also a walk tonight, where financial analysts now believe that inflation, are you ready for this, may actually be higher right now in February's number to be released later this month, and the March number to be released next month. If that is higher, guess what happens? Jay Powell will come in with a big increase in April. And why is this important? Let's do the analysis right now. Jay Powell's job is to reduce inflation by raising the interest rate at 5 FOMC meetings over the next 5 months. The first meeting started today. It's a 2-day meeting, and tomorrow on Evenings LALATE, I'll have Jay Powell's notes in prime time. Jay Powell will give you his projections for April. We already know what he's doing in March. He's already told us, quarter basis point for tomorrow's meeting. He's already told us last month. But what about April? Will be half basis point. A lot of analysts, including myself as well, are now a little bit concerned that the April move by Jay Powell could be half basis point. Let me tell you the pitch. Number one, the PPI number, miss. Number two, the CPI number, hit it. Number three, the bond traders think that inflation is higher. They brought up the 10-year Treasury note, trading over 2% tonight. Number three or four, have I lost track? I think I have. Number four, the ECB, the European Central Bank head, who is the Jay Powell counterpart, Christine Lagarde. I love saying that. Christine Lagarde. She last Thursday thought that the inflation numbers are hotter than they are, so she came in more aggressively. Number five, the situation right now may suggest inflation may go higher. Why? You're hearing this for the first time tonight on LALATE. China, with a new wave, a sixth wave of COVID, sending China on a potential major lockdown, that will disrupt the supply chain. So the products you buy may not be available, increasing inflation, and hence Jay Powell's pivot on April is huge. What does this mean for you? You want Joe Biden to make the move right now and swap that COLA for inflation right now before Jay Powell announces in April. Why? Because whatever Jay Powell does right now, you're good at 8%. Whatever Jay Powell does in early April, you're good for the first few days of April. But if it's significant, then by the time it flows through the system by late April, you may see inflation drop to 6%. 8% to 6% would be the difference of $200 a month additional lifetime versus about $170 approximately. That's why you want to make the swap when inflation is at the highest price point of generation, 8%. Later this year, inflation will drop to about 4%, but you don't want to wait then. You want to make the swap now and get that additional $100 when it's 4% later this year. So, tomorrow, breaking news on Mornings LALATE. We will watch live on air on Mornings LALATE. Number one, if Jay Powell, in that second day of the FOMC meeting, gives us guidance on the April number. Half basis point, you got to breathe heavily. Quarter basis point, you can go on a vacation. We'll have all those details live on air tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on Mornings LALATE. Meantime, breaking details as the rent program has now gone live, and that rent program is huge. How do you get it? What is it? And the big money for the homeowners grant. First, let's look at the homeowners grant. Exciting, incredible. The homeowners grant is now live. And if you're a member of this channel, oh boy, you are cleaning up. If you're not a member of this channel, become a member during the commercial break. After the commercial break, we will go over this. 1, $15,000 to $80,000 stimulus checks. 2, for you if you qualified and got a third stimulus check. Number 3, nationwide. Number 4, for my beneficiaries as well if you fall within the income zone and own your home. We'll have all those details then. We have a lot of breaking news tonight, folks. Lots of it. We'll be looking at why analysts now believe that a recession is on the horizon, as reported first on this channel. We'll be looking at the big money for rent that viewers are getting and why one viewer last night got nearly $30,000 from watching this show last night in prime time. We'll be looking at 6 stimulus, and if you thought Vladimir Putin is angry now, I'll tell you exactly the date that Vladimir Putin is going to blow his lid. Why? Because he's going to default on $2 billion of principal. By the time you're watching this video, Vladimir Putin will default, but only on interest tonight. I'll tell you the breaking details unfolding right at the time of this recording. And why is it big for 6 stimulus? Yes, the biggest package you ever see in the history of this channel. Then also breaking news tonight, is an Iranian deal back on to get your energy situation solved? I'll have the latest facts and fiction tonight. Then wheat. You thought we knew everything about wheat. Another reason for 6 stimulus. Tonight, a major twist as we now learn the dependency on Russian and Ukrainian wheat is far more serious than anything from oil we ever seen before. And also, we'll have the latest details on what happened with China yesterday and why it's far from over tonight. Finally, the banking industry. Why 6 stimulus will be needed for the banking industry and what bank said today about its exposure to the Russian bonds, which may get devalued by the time of tonight's recording. I'll have all those incredible details as we go into the big second half. Stay with me. It's a lot coming up as Evenings LA continues in prime time. America's most watched show for financial news in prime time. See you back in 60 seconds. As the developing details of those $80,000 of checks heat up and also 6 stimulus. And then I'll be turning to my renters with your big money, all coming up after the commercial break. See you back in 60 seconds.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues. And we go into a big second half of Evenings LA from the shores of Santa Monica, California. A new report released tonight signals that we could be going into recession. 30% of financial analysts polled in a new report says a recession will be happening next year. And that is the United States. When asked the question about Europe, 50% said a recession is happening. Remember, if Europe goes into recession, we go into recession the year after that. What have I been reporting? I've been reporting if the current situation economically continues through the month of May, we're definitely going into recession. I'll go over the latest details on that in the second half of this video, but first we're going to start with some money, lots of it. $80,000 of stimulus checks. If you're a member, you've gotten it. If you're not a member, become a member right now, and let's go over the details of it starting right now. This is why you watch Evenings LA, America's most watched show in prime time for financial news. It started 2 Fridays ago. The White House announcing an $80,000 stimulus check program where you can get it. And then last Monday, I announced in the viewership of this channel, it's going live. Go get it. Where are we tonight? Let's go over the details starting right now. This is the biggest payout you ever see in this history of the channel from 4 stimulus. I call it the 4 stimulus add-on. Why? Because the Build Back Better Act is not law yet. That's number 1. Number 2, this is law. And number 3, it's easy and it's absolutely deliciousness. Let's go over the map first. Here you go. There is the map, and let's go over the details starting right now. First, how much money? $15,000 to $80,000 per household. If the household has 4 members, it's still $15,000 to $80,000. You don't double or triple it. Number 2, who qualifies for it? Anyone who got a 3rd stimulus check, you are in the zone of income qualification. Single individual, $75,000 less, you can get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, you can get it. Number 3, Is there anyone that disqualifies themselves? No. So if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits, adult dependents, you can get it. Which states? Every state. And finally, what do you need to have? Own a home. If you're a renter, stay with me, because later in this video, I'm going to show you how to get renter's money. And tonight, you're going to meet one viewer who, watching this show this week, last night revealed he got $26,000 for rent. But let's go back to this homeowner's grant money, $80,000. First, what is it called? If you're a member, let's go over the details. If you're not, become a member right tonight. The President of the United States rolled it out 2 Fridays ago. And as soon as it was rolled out, broadcast media, print media never covered it. They're never going to cover it. So don't expect to see it anywhere else. They don't cover these type of things. Number 2, as soon as announced by the President that Friday, I featured it in the membership newsletter, which goes out Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system for you. It has been featured in every newsletter since then and will continue to be featured. It's at the top of the newsletter. The name of the program is in the newsletter, but for purposes of this channel, I'm calling it the Homeowners Grant. Number 2, $15,000 to $80,000. Number 3, if you're on benefits, you can get it. Number 4, for homeowners. Number 5, nationwide. And number 6, for what? Everything you want to think about. Homeowners property insurance, association fees, property taxes, utilities, and home repairs. Now, tonight in Evenings LA, for a new twist, I have a personal commentary about this in the very final minutes of this video. So stay to the very end, because I'm going to show you a new twist about this. I want you to know about it. It's coming up in the final 5 minutes. But let's go over how you get it. You want to open that membership newsletter, go into the top of the lead first words of the newsletter, right under where I give you the Brent crude and the price of grain and wheat tonight. Right below that, it says the grant. It has the complete name, and it sends you the link that goes right into get that application on file. Now, here's what you need to know, is you need to apply immediately. Does this look like something? It does. It looks like day 1 of this channel, April 25th, 2020. When I recorded on the beaches of Hermosa Beach during a lockdown, no one was there except me and my 2 viewers. I made a recording about pandemic unemployment assistance. And I said it's April 25th. In 3 days from now, a new program is going to go live. But apply today, April 25th. They did. Guess what happened? April 28th, they woke up. The program was completely live, now receiving the applications, and now paying out money. But guess what? They also woke up with a direct deposit alert. Their money was there the day the program went live. This is what you need to do, because if your state is in pre-authorization mode, where they're saying they'll accept the application, but they won't pay just yet, that means you put the application on file now, right after you watch this video, and all the other videos tonight, and the videos earlier today. Watch all of them, maybe 2 or 3 times, and then you apply. And then you get your application on file. Now, once you get your application on file, as soon as the payment process of your state opens up, you will be already in line in front of all those people who said, I'll just wait till they start paying people. No, you waited too long. You're the back of the line. So let's look at the situation tonight, and it's incredible. Every state is either receiving and paying, or about to receive your application. I'm going to show you a map, and first let me go over all the details of the map. First, the map is updated by the minute, by the hour for your state, so don't rely upon the map. Your state could have changed the situation in the last few minutes. The map has colors. In the case of teal, like California, Arizona, Texas, that means the state has already gone live with receiving applications and is paying. So, for example, if you applied in Florida, they're already paying in Florida. So if you want to apply today, you could get potentially paid as early as when they're available to pay, perhaps tomorrow. In the case of pink, they are receiving the application, but they aren't paying yet. Do you wait? No. You put your application on file immediately in those pink states, because when they start to pay, they pay out. Do not worry what color your state is. Why? Because the color could change by the minute. And moreover, do not wait till it becomes green or teal. Apply right as soon as it says, I can submit the application. Later in this recording, we're going to go over a little bit more about the application process. So stay at the very end of this video. It's very important for you to watch those final minutes of this video. But here's what I want you to know. This is what you do. You become a member. Number 1, Then open the newsletter. It's delivered via the YouTube alerts Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Go to the lead of the newsletter, and then it mentions the grant, the full name. It mentions where the link to go right into apply and the other links. It's administered on a state level. Then it gives you the eligibility, everything you need to know during the application process. It simplifies it for you. It's easier than doing it on your own. Now, that YouTube alert system is delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time and 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. It's the alert system. So if you received an alert about this video, you'll receive the alert about the membership newsletter. It's not sent by email. It is not sent by PDF. It's not sent by lobsters. It's not sent by wavable checks on the beach. It's not sent by a talking cow. And it's not sent by a person who wears a lot of scarves. It's sent by the YouTube alert system. More about that later in this video. Now let's go back to the exciting details of that SS300. Very exciting. Tomorrow morning, you want to tune into that Morning to LA live on air at 9 a.m. because we will see Jay Powell's comments at that FOMC meeting for March 22, specifically the second day, the March 17th date, to see if he gives us the April guidance. Because if he does, oh boy, you got to hope it's not half basis point. If you do, you want to push Joe to make the call. Hashtag Joe make the call now. If it's quarter basis point, we can relax for another 30 days. Meantime, the breaking news is across the board tonight is that sixth stimulus. Major developing details about that sixth stimulus. We're going to go over all of them starting right now. And boy, I've never seen a night like this. I'm excited you tuned in. This is a huge night across the board with breaking news. When we talk about sixth stimulus, what are we talking about? Let's go over the details. First stimulus, COVID. Second stimulus, never became a law, but was to be for COVID. Third stimulus, Biden stimulus, coming out of COVID, and Build Back Better Act, fourth stimulus coming out of COVID. Fifth stimulus will be for beneficiaries like SSI, SSDI, Social Security Rail benefits. Viewers have asked, still on? Yes. And how do they do that? They do it by legislation for the marriage penalty, the income cap, and the asset cap. All the other items like the COLA to inflation, Joe Biden can do it. And then finally, sixth stimulus is Putin stimulus. That is what sixth stimulus is. It's part of an allegiance between the progressives of Joe Biden, President of the United States, Emmanuel Macron, President of France, and Chancellor of Germany. That allegiance is formulated as a result of negotiations over the last 2 weeks. Let me tell you where it started and what happened with it. It started when your Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, went overseas and he spoke to them and said, you know what, we need to get off of Russian oil. They said, we cannot because we are economically dependent. And if we do, we have nothing. Our economies will go into tailspin, into meltdown. Then they came back days later and said, you're right, Blinken. We will get off of Russian items like oil, and we'll do it by debt spending. Debt spending, increasing the national debt domestically in France, Germany, and the United States. And then it's in stimulus to the citizens. The concept is very simple. One, oil prices may remain high, and these other items I'm about to cover, like commodities, may remain high. The citizens cannot afford it. So while we have to get off of Russian products, we have to give our citizens money to afford a life without those Russian products. And that is what sixth stimulus is. So what is the breaking news on the oil? What is the breaking news on the wheat? And what is the breaking news on China, the banking industry, and everything else you need to know about sixth stimulus? First, the timeline for sixth stimulus is early April. Why? Because it needs to see the results of a major event. It's the Emmanuel Macron France election. He's up for re-election in April. And if he's re-elected, then the progressives of France, Germany, and the United States, the trifecta, is together still. That will signal that we're going to the finish line for sixth stimulus. So let's look at the situation tonight for oil. And it's a very fluid situation. First, you may realize that oil went down overnight. So why did oil go down overnight, and what does it mean for you? The price of oil dropped to its lowest price level since day one of the inflation. Day one of the invasion, the price of gasoline, the Brent crude, the international Brent benchmark, surged from $100 a barrel to $110. In the last 7 days, it went to 140. Where did it start this morning before sunrise? At $96 a barrel. Then went to 98, then went to 100, but it's been hovering on $100. Why did it drop so dramatically today? And why did it drop so dramatically yesterday? Let me tell you the analysis right now. It is a mixture of both non-fundamentals and rumor. Let me give you the analysis. And it starts with the rumor. The rumor stems from Vladimir Putin's Secretary of Finance. Let me start what happened. Earlier today, there was a new rumor that circulated from him that said that Iran will come back to the negotiating tables. Oh boy, this is huge. Why is this huge? Iranian oil would flood the market and bring down the price of gasoline. Let me tell you how this works and what the rumor was. It started with Sergei Lazarev, who is Vladimir Putin's Russian foreign minister. You know the guy that sits in those meetings at the UN and everyone dislikes him, that guy. He said that a deal with Iran could potentially happen. Why did he say that? Let me explain the backdrop of that Iran statement. The United States with Iran has been negotiating for months for a nuclear agreement. Iran has been sanctioned by the United States and Germany and France since 2015 because it built up nuclear warheads. The sanctions removed Iranian oil from our distribution and our partner allies. Well, we thought that potentially we would have a deal by Iran by May on this channel because of negotiations in Vienna. But then on Saturday, abruptly, the negotiations with Iran stopped. Germany, France, the United States, shocked by that relevant detail. So why did they stop? Because Vladimir Putin interfered, and suddenly our hopes of a Iranian deal dashed. Well, earlier today, the price of gasoline surged on the rumor from Sergei Lazarev that Iran may allow the deal to happen. Do I buy it? No. Do I believe anything he says? No. It's Sergei Lazarev. So what do you need to know? At the time of this recording, the negotiations are not back on in Vienna, but I will watch them. If the negotiations are back on, it's good news for that Iranian oil because there's so much Iranian oil, it would flood our market, it would flood the international market, and alone, folks, it would bring the price of gasoline at the pump down from about $4 where it is right now to about $1 to $2. It's huge. It is astronomically huge. So what is the real reason the gasoline fell today? Really conjecture. Most analysts believe that gasoline fell on what is just called speculative trading, not because of anything from Vladimir Putin. Growth concerns from the Ukrainian-Russian stagflation wave, FOMC hikes, and hopes of progress made this move, says Jeffrey Hall, senior market analyst and Onada tonight. He says, it seems like the old adage that the best cure for higher prices is higher prices, and that they're here to stay and strong as ever. Translation, people traded oil like it's GameStop overnight. So I think it's going to stay down at 96? No. I don't think this is a real fundamental price. I think it is really at about a 108 at the time of this recording tonight for March 15th, 2022. So that's the situation 1 point on oil. The situation second for oil is that at the time of this recording, the allegiances of the Western allies to get another partner for oil, not there. The allegiances of the White House to get our oil increased domestically, not there. Not a good look for Joe Biden. Number one, Joe Biden has still not ramped up production of gasoline domestically. He can by ramping up production in that Gulf section of Texas. That's where the gasoline is refinery ready. It's not refinery ready in West Texas, which has agreed to increase production, and the Gulf is as well. The White House has said it's interested in increasing production, but the Energy Secretary, why she says she's interested, has not given the order, nor has the White House. And until the order comes in, they're not moving. They can't move. Why has Biden pivoted? Why has Biden not come in with the order? No one understands why, and I don't understand why tonight. Meantime, that Capitol Hill, their focus is misaligned as well. Capitol Hill wrote the President of the United States a letter today saying, pass the Build Back Better Act because we need energy reform and need electric vehicles. No, they need to be writing a letter to Texas to increase production tonight. So number one, Texas has not increased production. Number two, no statement from the White House to increase production. And number three, no way to increase production for the United States gasoline producers at the moment because the White House has not done it. But even more troubling tonight is the situation for our partner allies for gasoline. Our partner allies for gasoline, like France, Germany, and Italy, are nearly 80% dependent on Russian oil, or 40 to 60%. In the case of Germany, 40+%. And Russia has vowed to turn off the pipe, to literally cut off Nord Stream 1 that funnels gasoline to Germany overnight if Germany pushes too hard. If Germany has no gasoline, it goes in recession. If France has no gasoline, it goes in recession. And the time of tonight's recording, no better than last night's recording. Number one, Iraq has agreed to increase production? No. The OPEC plus countries, which include Russia, have not agreed to increase production. And Russia has interfered with their opportunity to increase production. They haven't done it. Iran, the negotiations have not resumed. And so hence, no deal. Venezuela, no deal. Venezuela remains the most sanctioned of the countries by the United States. And until the United States and foreign allies lift those sanctions, no deal. Then United Arab Emirates, a partner ally of the United States, but also a partner of OPEC's. They have the ability to release some of their strategic reserves, increase production, but guess what? Still no deal. So with no gasoline in place, what is next more troubling? The second part of the equation tonight, and brand new, is something more scary than you ever thought. If you think $5 a gallon is scary, what about a loaf of bread at $8 a loaf? Far more scary, isn't it? You buy bread and you need to live on bread, whether it's a croissant, a loaf, or bread for sirloin's bacon sandwich. Guess what? No one's going to afford bread at $8 a loaf. That's where we could be heading. Why? Because of Vladimir Putin. Let's go over the situation tonight. You've heard about the wheat crisis since day one of the invasion on this channel. But tonight, analysts are coming around. Perhaps they're watching my recordings because now they say the wheat crisis is far scarier than the energy crisis. Because now we're learning for the first time in this invasion equation how much wheat allies buy from Ukraine and Russia. It's not a number we normally would know, but now they're coming out. We heard that some countries may be 40%. Tonight, we're learning that it may be 80%. In the case of Egypt, we now learn that 80% of its wheat comes from Ukraine and Russia. We're learning a lot of our allies may buy a lot more wheat from Ukraine and Russia than oil. And with no opportunity lined up, guess what happens? We all go into recession. You can fix gasoline. You can fix gasoline production. You can ship more gasoline. But if you don't fix wheat, we go into recession. And guess what? We stay there for not 2 years longer. Let me tell you why wheat is more scary than gasoline. The current wheat in Ukraine not being harvested, in Russia not being harvested. Why? Because they're battling in a war. The farmers are holding weapons. They're not holding crop dusters. And until they return, the crop is lost. The crop of this season, gone, lost. What about next season? Lost, because they cannot prepare the soil for next season. That season lost. What about the season after that? Potentially lost if Vladimir Putin has been cluster bombing their fields. Potentially lost for 4 to 5 years. Yes, when we talk about oil and gas, we can put a barge into the sea and route it to another country in 2 weeks. It's that simple. The oil situation, just route a barge out to a country or turn on a pipe and send it another way. In the case of gas, in the case of wheat, you could have a wheat shortage for years to come. And a lot of people buy wheat bread. Potentially more people buy bread than they buy gasoline. There are more bread eaters than car drivers. And if you don't fix the price of bread, then guess what happens? This is what happens. We may harvest bread in the harvest bread. We may inhale bread in the United States. We may harvest wheat in the United States. We may grow wheat in the United States. But our price of wheat won't go down with a Ukrainian invasion by Russia. It will go up. Because when you have less wheat, the price goes up. And as the price goes up and you can't afford it, recession. Recession. And that is why this is getting very scary by the moment. Also scary tonight is something I've been warning for a while. Recession because of something else, the banking industry. Earlier today, for March 15th, 2022, one major brokerage house said its exposure to Russian debt is not a big issue for the first 2 months of this year. I'm trying to check. Isn't this the third month of the year? Yeah. So everyone saw this quote and sort of laughed. I laughed, but then I sort of cried because guess what? April 4th is around the corner. What is April 4th? Is that Emmanuel Macron's election night? No, it is pretty close. It's a $2 billion principal debt repayment date. For who? Not for me. For Vladimir Putin. Oh my goodness. So let's go over the details right now. At the time of tonight's recording, which I'll be in the live chat for you, I will tell you if Vladimir Putin is about to default on his March 16th payments. Vladimir Putin and his Russian bank has interest and debt payments, which I'm revealing for the first time in Evie's LA. The first two payments are due tonight, but they're only interest, so not that big of a deal. $73 million of interest payments are due tonight. $44 million of interest payments are due tonight. Perhaps at the time of this recording, we're already past when they were due. Then March 21st, $66 million. March 28th, $102 million. Still all interest. And then March 31st, you ready for this one? $88 million and $350 million of principal. But it's still in the millions. Okay, sit back. Are you ready for this one? Let's hear the drum roll, Joe. I know you know how to play the drums. I mean, Clinton knew how to play the sax. You know how to play the drums. Can we hear the drums? Putin, get ready to sweat bullets in that tacky shirt you wear with the gold lame. April 4th, $45 million of interest payments and $2 billion of principal due. $2 billion of principal due is due by Vladimir Putin on April 4th. And guess what? He won't make it. He won't make it because he has no freedom to get the money paid. At the present, the message seems to be that the Ministry of Finance of Russia is willing and able to pay, but is prevented from doing so by sanctions by Western allies. Says the president from Russia, as if the West went to relieve the situation. Says a note tonight by Blu-ray Asset Management's Timothy Ash. Translation: if you're going to roll dice and go to Las Vegas and bet what day the Russian invasion of Ukraine may be over, it may be over April 3rd at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because the next day, Russia will default on $2 billion of principal. And guess what happens domestically? That is the question du jour. And I'm very concerned. Why? Because the banking industry in the United States may go under if that default happens of $2 billion. Not $44 million of interest. I'm talking about $2 billion of principal interest due on April 4th. The situation is the following. If banks in the United States have major equity or debt positions in Russian debt, it will become devalued or valueless by potentially tonight's broadcast. That's not the troubling situation. It's that the debt will not be able to be serviced by April 4th because the country will be behind on $2 billion of principal. Russia will not be able to catch up, and Russia will not go away like go into the mode of a Cuba or a mode of a Venezuela. Russia will disappear from the map economically, and all those investments will signal not only a recession domestically, but a banking implosion. If you were around at the end of the George Bush Jr. tenure, guess what happened? The U.S. banks were about to go under, and Joe Biden and Barack Obama had to solve the situation. Is Joe Biden ready to solve the banking industry again if it potentially goes under because of Vladimir Putin? This is changing, developing details across the board tonight. Meantime, let's turn back to rent. I'm very excited for the viewership of this channel. Viewership of this channel who have watched this show in prime time have continued to have success stories. Let's look back on the recent days. March 12th, Simba got $5,900 from watching the show. March 13th, then we had Brian Graves, who got 8 months of rent, which is about $10,000. And then tonight, yes, Johnny Harfathin, last night, revealing in this chat, in the live chat of Eames LA in prime time, got $26,000 from this big money from the third stimulus. Incredible achievement by Johnny. Now you can get this big money as well. Where do you get this big money? Stay with me. First, you want to open the membership newsletter. It's featured in there. Second, you want to take notes if you're not a member because it's about to come up. And number 3, remember, third stimulus pays for rent and also pays for homeowners. So the homeowners get the $80,000 and also get the third stimulus. And where do you get it? Let's look at the details right now. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city house authority, your county hall, and your county house authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. There are 3 things you must do. You must reach out to all 6 places. You must do multiple rounds, and you must rely on the nonprofits. Open that membership newsletter. It featured in there tonight. And then finally, my commentary, when we look at those $80,000 of checks, I have a new twist on this tonight, and it starts right now. When you look at this map, does the color pink suggest the world is ending to you? Does the color pink mean we're all going to hell? No. So the very first time I had this map for some viewers, they immediately said, pink, there's no money, we're going to hell, we're dying, and the world is ending. I'm so sorry, I didn't get the memo. Does that what pink means? I watched Pretty in Pink with coming up in the what was it, in the 90s. Wonderful movie. Pretty in Pink was a great movie. Ally Beale, was it Ally Beale? I can't remember. But it's a wonderful movie. Pink does not mean the world is ending. But here's what's going on, and I need to confront it right on and confront it right tonight. Some people have defaulted to this universe of everything is a no. No, no, no. Oh no. Last night when our new hit show, Sunset LALATE at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time aired, there were 2 people in live chat. And the first one was a member, the second one not a member. Let me tell you what happened, because it's a learning experience for me and for you. Number 1, the first viewer who was a member in that live chat said when you're talking about these $80,000 of stimulus checks, this is what they wrote, you have to be behind on your bills in most states, including my state of Tennessee. Oh, fascinating. So I immediately went to Tennessee while that viewer was saying that, opened up the application. How did I do it so quickly? Because I'm a member. I went to the membership newsletter, clicked the link, went right into Tennessee, clicked the website for Tennessee, looked at it, and it was untrue. Did not have to be behind on your bills. And in fact, most states, that's untrue. So I said to the viewer, why did you just say that? It's untrue in your state, and it's actually untrue in most states. Here's what you need to know. There has become this new aura of people who want to say no to everything. Everything's a no. 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 How's your day? No. How's your day going to be tomorrow? No. You got to stop it. Because guess what happened to that viewer? That viewer has now not applied for, what, if she's been a member for 2 weeks, not applied for 2 weeks, because she told herself no. When it was a yes, and when I told her a yes, she went back on the application and realized, oh, it is a yes. I should have applied 2 weeks. Guess what happened in 2 weeks? She's at the back of the line. Why did she do that to herself? Moreover, why should she do that to you? Why in a crowded chat like Sunset LALATE last night with 300 people in the live chat, or 800, how many it was? Why did she tell 800 people, don't apply, you have to be behind on the bills? No, it was untrue. The notion of no is a sickness, and I should know better than anyone else. I made the first video, the biggest video in the financial space because of that sickness. When this channel launched, I was initially covering EIDL, but the first video for this subject matter went viral. 3.5 million views, the most watched video ever of this channel, and the most watched video ever in the financial space. What was the video about? No. I had seen where people on benefits like SSI and SSDI had somewhere been told before I came into the space that they don't qualify for anything, that there's never any money for them. No, 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 no. Somewhere before I came on the scene, they were told no. So I made a video. Yes, you do qualify for first stimulus check. Yes, you do qualify for this money for rent. Yes, you do qualify for this homeowners grant. And if you notice how I pay so much attention nightly to income qualifications and eligibility for items, because I want you to know you qualify. No was a big hit. And that video was a big yes, 3.5 million viewers. But lately, some people love to say no. Let me make very frank to you. If you don't like money, fine. But if you like money, the answer is usually yes. And every time you tell yourself no, you're at the back of the line and you passed up $80,000 of checks. And if you watch someone who says no, give it a grain of salt, because they generally don't know what they're talking about. It's generally a yes. If I told you a yes, it's a yes. It's not a no. The second viewer who was on the live chat that night on that Sunset LALATE show, very new hit show at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time, said the following: I don't like this homeowner's grant because I don't qualify. I said, oh, why? I don't qualify. I'm a renter. Good, I got money for you for renters. It's third stimulus. The viewer says, I don't qualify. Why don't you qualify for that as either? Because I'm in Missouri. Missouri has rent. No, Missouri has no money for anyone. Never, ever, ever. Never will. They said, yes, I do. I've been getting people money in Missouri for rent since day one of this channel, since December 2020. What are you talking about? Go get it. Again, another person who said, no, 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 no. Here's what you need to know. The answer is yes. Go get it. Meantime, let's go back to that membership newsletter. That membership newsletter is delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, via the YouTube alert system. If you received an alert about this video, you receive the membership newsletter. It's delivered the same way via the YouTube alert system. It's an automated automated computer system generated alert that sends you the newsletter. It's not sent by email. It's not sent by my finger pressing a button over and over again. Moreover, you know that to do things you need to ramp up. And I know you can ramp up. Do you own a phone? Are you watching this video tonight in a phone? Guess what? When you go to apply for this money, the money will ask you to prove certain documents, to give them a document. Do you know how to take a picture of your granddaughter? You do. So you hold up the document, you take a picture of it. Suddenly, you know how to do this. Don't know how to use a phone? Yes, you do. Do you need a computer? No, you don't. So there's a solution to everything. Does the neighbor have a son that's 18 years old, knows how to show you how to open the membership newsletter? You know how to do it. My job is to deliver you breaking news, and this is why this is the nation's most watched financial news channel in America in prime time. Look how much information I bring on camera every night that I prepare. This is for tonight. My job is not to teach you how to use a computer. My job is not to teach you how to use your new cell phone. My job is to get you money. And my job is to tell you, yes, you can. Yes, you can get these big sums of money. You can get the rent if you're a renter, third stimulus. You can get the money if you're a homeowner from third stimulus or the homeowner's grant. You can get the SS300 if it becomes law. You can get the Build Back Better Act if it becomes a law. You can get the CR county stimulus if it's in your county. You can get all these big sums of money. You need to know what the money is and how the money is. But if you tell yourself no in life, then everything will be a no. Finally, I look back as we approach the launch date of this channel, April 25th, 2020. We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary. Do you know what my most reoccurring statement was in the month of April to July of 2020? Pick up the phone and call 5 to 10 times a day. That's what I told viewers. Their EIDL loans, their EIDL grants were stuck. I said, pick up the phone and call every single day. And if you get a no, say thank you. Hang up the phone and call back because there will be a yes. I told viewers how to confront no's and how to do yeses. If you want to know, you can get a no. One viewer last night sent me a private message saying, I called up a phone number and they said no, so I never applied for the grant. What? You go to the website and you apply for the grant. You don't ask the guy at the taco stand if you should apply. You don't call Janet Yellen's office. You don't call Bernie's office. You don't call Nancy's office. Should I apply? No, you go get the money. If you don't have the encouragement, the self-motivation to get money, I can't instill that in you. I can only do so much as a broadcaster, as a news reporter. If you don't have the encouragement to do this yourself, then I can't help you. But I've helped millions and millions of viewers by telling them, do it. Pick up that phone and call SBA. If they say no to you, pick up the phone and call it again. When I say apply tonight, if you don't apply tonight and want to wait 5 weeks, I can't force you to apply. But if you want to say there's no money, oh boy, I'm going to stop you on your tracks. If you're going to say there's no help, I'm going to stop you in your tracks. If you're going to say you have to be behind your bills, I'm going to stop you in your tracks because it's untrue. And if you want to live in an alternate universe of no's, you can do it. Guess who's living in an alternate universe of no's right now? His name is Vladimir Putin. And you can join that universe where people are about to see the largest economy of the globe at number 10 about to default at tonight's recording. It's Russia heading to a default tonight and heading to a, what was it, $2 billion principal payment due on April 4th. This is the implications of people who think no. Do not think like a Vladimir Putin. Think like a winner. Think like a purple power, and think like yes. And will Sirloin be back? Yes, he will. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful evening, and join me next as the continuing coverage stays informed. Go under this video and become a member. The link is under the video. Get that membership newsletter and apply for the grant right now. And then get the third stimulus money as well. Stay informed, stay focused. Join me nightly on Monday through Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. For America's most watched financial news show in a prime time, it's Evenings LALATE. Stay informed, stay focused, stay motivated, stay here, and stay with LALATE for more.